friends, I'm going to read you Little Red Riding Hood. Many long summers ago, there was a little girl whose mother made her a red cape with a red hood for her birthday. But because it was so pretty, she wore it here, there, and everywhere. And that's why everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Mr. Whittle, the woodcutter, called at Little Red Riding Hood's cottage in the woods. "Your grandmother is sick," he said, "and lonesome." "May I take a basket of goodies to her?" Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother. That would cheer her up. Mother agreed. It would make her feel better. Mother put some cookies and butter rolls and fresh elderberry jam into a basket. Little Red Riding Hood added a bag of colored jelly beans. Then she put on her red cape and kissed her mother goodbye. "Keep to the path, child," said Mother. "Don't loiter along the way, and don't talk to strangers." "I'll do just as you say, Mother," promised Little Red Riding Hood. Then off she skipped with the basket over her arm and her red cape flying in the breeze. The birds sang merrily as Little Red Riding Hood walked through the shadowy woods. Bunnies hopped, squirrels scampered, fawns peeped shyly from among the trees. "Good morning, friends," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I'm sorry, I can't stop to play with you today." But she pulled her hood onto her head and sang, "Here I go to Grandma's house I go." "Ho, ho," said a gruff, growly voice. "So that's where you're going." And a great gray wolf pounced out from behind a blackberry bush. "Please let me pass," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I must hurry." Do you think he's going to let her pass? Let's find out. The wolf peeped into the basket. He said, "all my favorite." "All Grandma's favorite," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, please move aside." "Wait a minute," said the wolf. Becoming friendly, he said, "Why not pick some flowers for your grandmother?" "Well," said Little Red Riding Hood, "I really shouldn't stop." "A few minutes surely won't make any difference," said the wolf. So Little Red Riding Hood stopped to pick some bluebells and buttercups. By the time she had gathered a pretty bouquet, the wolf was gone. I wonder where that wolf went. He was bounding along to Grandmother's house. "Here's the place," he said, as he knocked and knocked and knocked on the door. "Who's there?" said Grandmother. "It's Little Red Riding Hood," called the wolf in a little girl's voice. "I've brought you a basket of goodies." "Bless your heart," said Grandmother. "Come in, dear." Oh no, Grandma thinks that it's Little Red Riding Hood, but it's not, it's the wolf. The wolf lifted the latch and did boo. Grandmother hopped out of bed and slipped through the open door. She went through the cabbage patch and through the woods. After she was gone, the wicked wolf popped into one of Grandmother's nightgowns, then put on Grandmother's nightcap and climbed into her bed. Soon there was a knock on the door. "Lift the latch, dear, and come in," called the wolf, trying to sound like Grandmother. Little Red Riding Hood hurried inside. "Why, Grandma," she said, coming closer, "what long furry ears you have." "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf in a cheerful voice. "And your eyes," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh my, they look like big green marbles." All the better to see you with, my dear, said the wolf. My, oh my, Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood. What big white teeth you have. The wicked wolf licked his chops. All the better to eat you with. He snapped and he jumped out of bed. Little Red Riding Hood looked so afraid. But Little Red Riding Hood was quick. She skipped and hopped and circled around the room until the wolf was dizzy. Then she ran through the door straight into the arms of Mr. Whittle the woodcutter. The wolf is after me, cried Little Red Riding Hood. And we are after him, for she had brought the woodcutter to the cottage. You'll be sorry, Mr. Whittle told the wolf. Now it's your turn to be afraid. The wolf yelped and ran for his life with the woodcutter close behind. Everything's going to be all right now, Grandmother said to Little Red Riding Hood, and that's exactly how things turned out. The woodcutter was soon back all alone. No more wolf, he said. I don't think he'll ever stop running. Hooray! Cried Little Red Riding Hood. Thank goodness, said Grandmother. Then all three sat down to enjoy the goodies in Little Red Riding Hood's basket. The cookies, the butter rolls, the elderberry jam, and the jelly beans. The day was fine after all. The end.